Hello everyone and welcome to Speaker Talk Radio. My name is Claire Perkins and today I'm talking to Liz Rotherham. Liz, who was diagnosed with bipolar disorder back in 2003, created Heads to Minds with her sister Kate in order to raise mental health awareness. She gives talks about the condition and how it affects her and her family at schools, employment forums and the police force. By sharing her story, Liz hopes to give people a greater understanding of mental disorders. Hello Liz, welcome and thank you for coming on Speaker Talk Radio.
Hi Claire.
2003, you were diagnosed with bipolar disorder. What is bipolar disorder?
How I describe bipolar disorder is basically a chemical imbalance of the brain, and it's where people experience highs and lows.
Right, but to extreme measures, yes?
It can be. There's different levels of bipolar. I've got bipolar level 1, which is actually extreme highs and lows.
Right. Oh, I didn't know there was different levels. Well, now I do. You experience psychotic manic episodes. Can you describe how one of these episodes affects your thinking?
Psychotic episodes are absolutely frightening. You actually lose rationalisation of the brain. And you can't comprehend anything. You get like manic thoughts and basically become delusional and have grandiose ideas about what you think you are and things like that.
Oh, can you give me an example?
Well, when I was first diagnosed back in 2003, I actually thought I was Jesus' sister and I thought I had magical powers and could change the world. I wanted to gather my disciples, which is a positive thing.
I was just going to say that.
Yeah, it's a positive thing, but unfortunately what happened is I thought I could stop a train and I thought I had the powers to stop that and it would be okay because I'd be resurrected, and that's where the alarm bells went off. I bet.
So it really is delusional thinking, isn't it?
Yeah, totally delusional. And I've had very extreme positive like euphoria, but also I've had the paranoia, the anxiety and the fear as well that goes with psychotic episodes.
How often would these psychotic manic episodes occur and how long do they last?
Well, since 2003, I've probably had about 8 or 9 manic episodes. They've lasted, I'd say, probably up to about a week, although recently, because I've got more of an insight into my condition, right, probably only a couple of days.
Oh, do you have any medication?
Yes, I take medication on a daily basis, like a mood stabiliser and also a sedative at night.
Oh, right. Well, what age did you first experience the symptoms of bipolar then?
It was actually at the age of, I think it was about 32, the first signs of it anyway, which was the depression initially.
Oh, right. So once diagnosed though, did you feel relief at having a name or condition put to your state of mind?
Well, the weird thing is back in 2003, bipolar wasn't as prevalent as what it is now. And when I was diagnosed, it was like, what is bipolar? And I didn't actually sort of acknowledge when they gave me the diagnosis what it was. And also afterwards, I didn't actually believe that it actually happened. So I carried on in my normal life thinking that I didn't actually have bipolar.
Right. Well, I have to ask, why do you think mental health is still such a stigma in the 21st century? I mean, you were saying you just a moment ago you think bipolar is more prevalent. Is it because we're more in touch with each other on social media, etc.? But then again, why is it such a stigma still? Because we talk about it more often.
Yeah, I think people are definitely talking more about it. I also think there's a lack of education regarding it. I think people don't understand especially psychosis, and I think the more people that actually talk out about it, like myself, then people are going to understand, and then they're not going to be so frightened and and it's the unknown as well.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, totally.
You give your talks at schools, employment forums and the police force. Have you noticed a difference in the way they've been received at these events? In other words, do you find that kids or adults are more accepting of your story and condition?
Yes, I mean, because every scenario is different. I mean, in schools, I give the talk to secondary schools, and they're normally the age of 15 and 16,
Right.
and they're going through exams, they're going through the pressures, and suffering anxiety, and when they hear about my story and where I didn't talk about it, I kept it all to myself. They realise that they're not alone, and then I ask a question in schools specifically. I say, look, do you or do you know of anyone else or in your family that actually experiences mental health? And probably about 90% of the year put their hand up. And also, I spoke to the kids afterwards, and they said they couldn't believe how many other people in their class had actually, experienced it, and it gave them comfort as well to a certain degree.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah.
I can imagine. And also, you think it's a private thing. You're hardly going to start talking to people about a member of your family who's suffering from mental health problems. It's difficult, isn't it?
It is, but I feel that the more I speak out about it, the more comfortable people feel about telling me their issues or their concerns and things like that.
Sure.
I mean, when I did the training video for the police, this actually helps them sort of with their new recruits and training to actually, deal with people that actually experience mental health problems. So it gives them a greater understanding on how to deal with someone, like if they come across someone in psychosis, what
Sure.
to do. So I'm trying to educate people as well.
Good for you. I love your pre and post video on your website for your talk at a school. The look on your face pre-talk was somewhat of a rabbit caught in headlights, and post-talk video, I can see how relieved and more relaxed you are. How do you prepare for your talks?
Well, I must admit, don't get me wrong, everyone gets nervous when they're doing a talk, and I do especially. I get super excited because obviously I'm about to do a bit, but we all suffer from nerves, and unfortunately I do. I write things down about what important points I want to cover. I have like little bullet points, and I refer to them. I also use like a PowerPoint presentation, which is not actually wordy. It's actually pictures about what I've gone through, so it tells my story, and then I talk around that as well.
Right.
So I definitely prepare. You have to prepare.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely. Excuse me. You work closely with your sister Kate on raising awareness of mental health. What role does Kate take in Heads to Minds?
Kate she's amazing. She's been extremely supportive, and she actually gives her perspective on what it's like living with someone and being part of the family with someone with a diagnosis of bipolar and mental health. So she gives her side and helps people like families who have got someone with a diagnosis of mental health and what to do and things like that, and how to gain support. She's attended support groups. She's done research into it as well, so she's very knowledgeable about the condition as well.
Right, so she sees it from another point. Excuse me. She sees it from another point of view, and you see it from your point of view, and it helps people in all different ways. That's wonderful. That's really wonderful.
Definitely.
You recently became a mental health first aid instructor. That's interesting. What is a mental health first aid instructor, and where do you use it?
I'm a qualified now mental health first aid instructor, and basically what that means is I actually get to train people to become mental health first aiders. It's like a 2-day course, and it gives people the tools in order to, and confidence in order to deal with people who have potentially got some sort of issue or worry or something like that.
Right.
I'm shortly going to go on a half-day course so I can deliver it to team managers and leadership in order for them to be aware, because they manage a team, and how to help their staff, and just be aware of it. It's an extremely good course, and it's been I had it delivered to me by the Mental Health First Aid England, it's just a brilliant sort of intensive course, but covers every angle of mental health conditions.
Very good idea. Very good idea. You have received some great reviews, testimonials for your talks, including, I think you're a very inspiring woman. How nice. I think it's amazing to have heard how much you went through, and look at today as someone as resilient and as strong as you. What is the one thing you'd like the audience to take away from your talks?
I think, because we all go through challenges in life.
Sure.
And we all face difficulties, and it's how you actually deal with it, because I have been through a huge amount, and I've managed to bounce back each time. And a lot of people have said to me, Liz, I don't know how you've gone through what you've gone through and come out the other side. But I think to myself, you've only got one life. I try and look on the positive side every time. I also look, things have happened for a reason, what I've been through, because now I actually educate people and give people an understanding of it.
Yeah.
And I also would say to people, one important message is don't be like myself, keep things to yourself, don't hide away, don't give a portrayal that you're actually happy on the face value, and underneath you're not, and keep everything in. Talk to either a teacher, a friend, your parents, a colleague, or someone. Don't do what I did and let it fester inside and then become even worse, and then have a breakdown, and then obviously end up in hospital.
You were shortlisted for the Daily Mail's Inspirational Woman of the Year award. Your nomination was for your extraordinary efforts in campaigning to help others understand mental health. That's a wonderful achievement. Fantastic. And I also understand that you met the Duchess of Cornwall. Listeners, that's Camilla, Prince Charles's wife, by the way. As part of the Inspirational Award Day, and tried to high-five her. I love that. That just made me laugh. I'd love to have been a fly on the wall. Were you nervous? What was she like?
Well, I was nominated for the award by my other half, Daryl, bless him.
Oh.
And it was actually sponsored by Young Minds, which is, I do a lot of work for their charity anyway.
Yeah.
And I was totally overwhelmed when they actually, I became one of the finalists, because it was such an amazing achievement, and it was part of the Daily Mail, and we were invited up for the day. We had our makeup done, everything like that, and we were actually taken to the Duchess of Cornwall and Prince Charles's residence, and I wore a skirt. It was a green skirt, but it had the flag on it, the Union Jack flag on it. I thought, oh my goodness, talk about patriotic. Anyway, we were taken into their drawing room, which was quite surreal, really, and we were all asked to sort of stand in a line. Well, I'm not good to this sort of thing. I'm not very regimented. I'm not very good to be, given orders and things like that. So I was sort of mucking about a bit. Anyway, she came in and we all had to sort of be quiet, and she was saying hello and I was last. She was saying hello to all the other finalists. And when she got to me, I couldn't help myself. I just turned around and I said, I don't know whether to high-five you or curtsy. Well, I'll tell you what, honestly, everyone in the room laughed. There was all her, colleagues and things like that. And I don't think she knew what to say.
I bet she didn't.
She sort of laughed nervously and then just carried on talking and things like that. She was a lovely, lovely person. She was very, kind and considerate, and asked me lots of questions and, about mental health. But yeah, it was quite amusing. And then when I got the awards that evening, they actually mentioned it, and everyone obviously laughed at me. And it's just a typical thing that I would do, because sometimes my mouth opens before my brain engages.
I love it. You were involved in a charity too to raise money for Mind and Young Mind. Would you like to tell me about these charities and how important they are to understanding mental health?
Yeah, sure. I've done a couple of charity do's. I did a fashion show earlier on in the year, and also I did like a disco and a raffle last year. I try and do as much as I can. I also do events at work and different things like that, like book sales, and I did a wellbeing event recently as well. And it's so important, for Young Minds and Mind to get the funds needed. And it helps because they're doing such a great job in trying to reduce stigma, sort of educating people, raising awareness, spreading the word.
Yeah.
So the more money I can generate and doing charity work for them, the better, And I'm hoping to do something for World Mental Health Day, which is in October. Right. So I've got a few ideas, so I just need to put it to, fruition.
Brilliant. You're writing a book about your experiences to educate and offer support and guidance to others. And part of the proceeds from the book will be given to SANE, which is a mental health charity. When is this due to be published, and where will people be able to buy it? And of course, what's going to be the title?
Right, so I'm super duper excited about this. It's taken me 7 years to write it. And I actually, at the beginning of the year, I met this wonderful person called Samantha Houghton, and she's a mentor, and she actually helps you sort of put together a book. If it wasn't for her, I would never have sort of carried on putting pen to paper and finished my book, and it's taken me 6 months to actually finish it, and I've finally finished it now. It's due to launch in October this year, and it's going to be called Life as a Roller Coaster, and then the Mayhem of Bipolar. And I'm so grateful that, unfortunately, Young Minds and Minds, there was a lot of red tape involved, but Sane, they're actually backing. I'm going to use their logo on my book and also their quote, and I'm actually giving a percentage of my book to Sane charity as well. Because it's an educational book. It's about obviously what I've been through and then my breakdown as well, and then coming out the other side, but also it's a view of my family's perspective. So my mum's in there, my sister's in there, my partner's in there, my nieces are in there, and also one of my ex-managers who I work for. So it's given them a perspective as well about what's going on. So it's good.
Lastly, where can listeners find out more about Heads to Minds and how to contact you regarding your talks?
I've got a website which is called www.headstominds.co.uk, and you can look on that website. Apart from that, you can email me, which is lizrotherham@yahoo.co.uk, and you can also order copies of the book if you want from there as well. Contact the website, because there's a lot of other people that share their story there as well. And I'm always looking for other people to actually share their story as well, because I think the more people that talk out about it, the better.
Very much so. Oh, well, look, that was so interesting, Liz. Thank you. Please come back on Speaker Talk Radio, and I'd love to chat with you and hear more. In the meantime, good luck for the future, and thank you everyone for listening to Speaker Talk Radio. Let the world hear what you have to say. Thank you, Liz.
Thank you.